Now, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a very interesting story considering what's been going on with Helldivers in the past. And now you have people trying to stick with Helldivers because obviously they did the right thing and they did enforce the PlayStation Network signing and all that stuff. And people were trying to give it another chance. Well, apparently, even though they got all this goodwill, you know, you're going to have people in that company that are absolutely going to ruin it. And who usually does it? Well, quite simply, it's normally community managers or people that work for the community managers. In this sense, you have a moderator for the Discord. So we have an article here from That Park Place with a headline that reads, Helldivers 2 moderator bans users for vomit reacting to LGBTQ furry art and then removes the emote as player base continues to shrink.
Peter, I need you to hold my ears.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, just to be a little bit objective here, you know, people like to mention Helldivers 2 player base shrinking, and they're trying to tie it to other things other than the fact that it's a live service game. The honeymoon phase is over. People are going to get bored and move on. It's not an MMORPG. It doesn't have a vast amount of content to keep people busy for a long period of time. That's just not the case, man. Live service games like this are going to have their player base, and that's going to be a very static player base, but it takes a little while to get there, and it usually ends up happening after it shrinks quite a bit. You know, we're experiencing the last bit of whatever people were into it from the honeymoon phase, and they're slowly starting to wean themselves off. So you got now a player base that is going to remain pretty static, I gotta imagine, unless they either keep messing up like this, for example, or they produce more content that's going to get other players back. So let's get into this article, guys, from That Park Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says a Helldivers 2 moderator banned multiple users for reacting to LGBTQ plus furry art with the vomit reaction and then had the emote removed. All of this comes as the player base for the game continues to shrink. Now, you gotta imagine how hilarious it is that they are not very happy at the fact that you don't like furry stuff, right? And this is from people that probably have furry characters in their bios on X and whatnot. These moderators almost all act and think the same exact way in that regard. So of course they're gonna get offended if you don't like their deviant stuff. I mean, that's basically it. It says, according to SteamDB, Helldivers 2 has seen its player base massively shrink since its peak in February of 458,000 concurrent players. The most recent 24-hour peak is 52,214 players. Now, hey, listen, 458,000 players, absolutely fucking insane, okay? I mean, those numbers are astronomical for a live service game. That is incredible. But you also got to keep in mind that 52,000 players is nothing to scoff at either. Look at Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad will literally go suck a dick in the hopes to get anywhere close to 52,000 concurrent players because they're currently stuck at like 200 concurrent players. So listen, 52,000 players is still a lot of players, but I definitely can see that the fact that they are losing a lot of players compared to the beginning. That's almost 400,000 players they lost concurrently. That's insane. But again, it's a live service game. It's not an MMORPG. It just doesn't have the staying power like those games do. It just doesn't. Like, it doesn't matter how amazing this game is. It just will never have that same level of staying power. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that 52,000 is not a good number in and of itself. Amidst the decline in the player base, one of the game's moderators in his Discord began banning players for vomit reacting to a piece of LGBTQ furry art. Moderator Tetra Katart, who lists his pronouns of she, her, and they, them in her bio, as well as featuring LGBTQIA plus rainbow, and currently has the username of a mouse, posted on June 10th. Gender identity is not politics. It's literally someone's identity. Here in the HD2 server, we have a zero tolerance policy of any sort of bigotry or hate. The topic of gender identity, especially this month, is not one that's not allowed. What isn't allowed, it's all the negativity towards players trying to celebrate who they are. Your sexuality is not who you are. Like, I don't know if that is something that you need to be told privately by people that are closer to you, but your sexuality is not who you are as a person. And if it is, I got news for you. you're pretty fucking boring, okay? I mean, you gotta be probably one of the most boring people on the planet if who you suck or fuck is your primary identity. That is unbelievably boring to me, and unbelievably boring to, guess what, a lot of people. I would say over 95% of people in this fucking world don't care about who you sleep with. Unless you are directly sleeping with them, they are not going to care about who you are banging. That is not something that should be the topic of conversation for most situations, I gotta imagine. So unfortunately for you, you probably don't even realize this, but people do find that, in fact, boring. And some people will find it disgusting, especially when you want to start talking about furry stuff. Not to hate on all the people who like furry stuff out there. And I know I say fury because that's just how I say it, but furry, whatever. Everybody who likes that stuff, hey, more power to you. I can't tell you yes or no. You're a fucking adult. Go do what you want to do. But that's not the topic of conversation that we should be having in a Helldivers 2 Discord. Like, the Helldivers 2 is supposed to be talking about democracy and killing bugs and killing automatons. Like, that's what you should be talking about, and gameplay and how to improve it and fix bugs and all that. If you are posting Fury art in Discord for Helldivers 2, you're boring. You clearly don't actually want to engage in the community and talk about Helldivers. You want to put your nonsense out there. So yeah, you do deserve a couple of vomit emojis. You do deserve to be roasted. You do deserve to be laughed at for the boring fuck that you are. You absolutely do. And I feel like it should happen more. She continued, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Bro, that's such a stupid... I hate that saying. That's such an old school saying. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. That's stupid, because you are putting yourself out there and expecting nobody to have an opinion on it. Once you put yourself out there in the public in a way that people are able to then take the information in, you then cannot tell that same person, hey, the information that you're taking in that I'm forcing on you, you cannot have an opinion on it. Just take the information, and if you don't like it, keep it to yourself. You don't get that option. Just like that person didn't get the option to whether or not take that information that you're giving them or forcing them or not, they didn't have the option. You decided to put out that furry art for everybody to see, and nobody asked for it. So then you do not get the option to tell them, yeah, you don't get to comment on that. You don't get to have any criticism. Yeah, fuck you, bro. You're the ones who put that out there, so you should get every single comment that's coming your way. You earned it. So figure it out from that point. Also, in the same vein, if you are attempting to bait people by flagrantly injecting your sexuality into the combo just to start fights, that will also result in a timeout. Now it's time to move the topic along, because it's very clear right now that it's not one we can have civilly. So you're saying that you're trying to bait people by putting your sexuality into the combo. You realize that your entire profile, your entire being on Discord is literally sexuality. I mean, you have the rainbow pride flag in your bio, in your title, I should say. I'm looking at it right here, and I'm sure when you click your actual profile, it's pronouns and gender identity everywhere. So you can't tell people that they can't interject their sexuality when you yourself are doing it in your own Discord that you're managing. The hypocrisy is ridiculous. Ironically, this policy makes absolutely no sense. Pushing of sexual orientation and transgender ideology is by definition hate, and adherence to these lifestyles, movements, and ideologies express bigotry. But this is exactly what social justice warriors and woke cultists do. They lie, double down on their lies, and project. So again, guys, I mean, I think it's ridiculous that they still, to this day, fucking Helldivers, man, you guys have some of the most insane community managers and moderators seen in modern day gaming. You guys don't realize that after the debacle that you had with the PlayStation Network account linking, you would think that you would probably do damage control and try to fire some of these losers that you have working as moderators in Discord. I know you got rid of some of them, but you didn't get rid of all of them. It's very clear that the rot runs very deep at your company with Arrowhead Studios, and you need to figure out what you're going to do, because you got to realize these people are going to give you bad press. It's only a matter of time, and you cannot afford to have bad press because you just recovered from the last bad press. So now you're going to be adding more, and it's only going to make things worse. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.